to a show on my channel that I lovingly call Tea Talk.
I was gonna try to get on.
I know people always know when I go like this. It's like jump in. I don't give you any warning though. She asked me all these questions. I'm like, just go with it.
I'm gonna go with it. You're gonna go, and I'm just gonna flow along.
It's gonna be good. So to those of you that have never watched my Tea Talk videos, this is like a fairly new series I'm doing on my channel, and I thought of it because one, I'm obsessed with tea.
Yes.
And I'm also obsessed with conversation.
And me too. So
in the world of conversation, you're one of my favorite people to like.
Aww.
I love to shop with her. I love to talk with her.
Yes.
She's like an extra little sister to me.
Gal pals.
Yeah, gal pals.
Yeah,
but
my,
really, like,
my older sister.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh.
Why does that just melt my heart so much?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we've known each other for a little while now, and I'm happy to have her.
No, it's been so long.
I know we were saying last time we filmed a video together was
3 years ago.
She was a teenager. She was 17.
That makes me really sad though, because that means life goes by really fast.
I know.
That was 3 years ago, Nikki.
I know. It's kind of hard to believe, huh?
Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. I cannot believe it.
What's the matter?
I tried the grind with you last time. What was it?
It's a grind. Oh, we'll be taking her. We should probably get it before you leave town tomorrow.
I tried it with you and I was like, my life is complete. I tried the Nikki tea.
Yeah, I actually can make the Nikki tea at home now too. So, I mean, but if you want the full experience, you can go to It's a Grind tomorrow.
Well, we're having a sleepover, so I can just drink tea before I go to bed.
Yeah, exactly. So, speaking of tea, the tea that we're drinking today, Cambria.
Yes, what are we
So, this
drinking?
is from a company called T2.
I've never heard of this, actually.
I haven't either. I was in London, and this is an Australian company.
Okay.
And so, I've actually drank this on Tea Talk before, but, you know, not everybody sees all the teeth that I drink on Tea Talk. So, this is called Red, Green, and Dreamy.
Red, Green. Okay.
And it's technically a rooibos tisane. So,
okay, so it's not green.
No,
it's green rooibos.
Do you know what rooibos is?
No.
No, me neither. But it says rooibos with an incredible summer fruit scent. Peaches, plums, and fresh berries.
Okay, peaches, plums, and fresh berries. Okay,
ready?
Are we ready? Are we cheersing?
Cheers.
Great.
My nasty straw. Don't judge me. Just kidding. I also just heard a fish flop behind us.
Nikki, I think that's the best tea that I've ever
Do you really like it? Because that's one thing I don't pressure people.
Oh my
if
god!
If they hate it, they're fine.
No, wait.
You really like it?
I'm gonna buy this tea.
It's good.
Oh my gosh. How did you make iced tea that quick too? She's like the queen. Wait, the queen at tea?
Yeah.
The tea queen?
I'm the tea queen.
You're the tea queen. You made it so fast. She made it in like 5 seconds and then it was ready and she was like, here you go, in the cup. So thanks for the cup.
You're so welcome.
That's the best tea that I've ever had. That's not exaggerating. And
wow.
You know I'm
this
a
is like
foodie.
a primo
You know
response.
I'm a foodie. You know that. You know I'm really into tea and coffee and like food and the flavors.
I know, it's really good, huh?
This is one of the top teas I've ever had. Ever.
Primo tea brand.
I'm not
T2
kidding.
is really super.
Okay, good job, Australia.
A+.
Good job, Australia.
Well, today we're going to be drinking this tea that is apparently the best you've ever had.
Yes, it's so good. I love it. Thank you so much.
And we're going to be talking about marriage today. So I ask you guys a lot on social, like I let everybody know when I'm going to be doing these, particularly on Instagram because I can like film a video and ask a question. And so today we wanted to have a conversation about marriage because we're in very different places.
I'm not married, so
I've been married for 8.5 years.
She is, if you didn't know.
Yeah, but I feel like you might be walking down the aisle soon in life.
Oh my gosh, okay, so
I mean, I feel like it's coming in your future.
Are you predicting that?
I mean, I'm
sorry.
Assuming that you're...
This is just our moment right
now.
But
I'm assuming since your relationship is so serious.
Right,
I know
almost 2 years, so
yeah. And I'm not just like projecting that because I know a lot of people don't necessarily correlate like that with marriage. Some people don't want to get married. But
I want to get married. I want to get married. So do Bo, so...
It's coming in your
future.
future.
Matter of time,
yeah. Well, we got your questions on Instagram.
Yes, we do.
And so we're going to take it away.
Okay,
do you want to do the first? Did you already find one?
I mean, I found one that I just thought was a really good one to just kind of like start off with because I feel like everyone in this world right now like just thinks that like relationships, especially on like social media, that relationships are just so perfect and there's no problems and there's just happy photos and love and like flowers and there's nothing ever wrong. And so the first question that I saw that I thought would be really good because you're married and I'm not, and I feel like this should just be a good, topic. Okay, so edit this out. I need to find your Instagram.
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay, I screenshotted it.
No, you're fine. This is what we do. Like sometimes we'll like pause and scroll through it.
Okay, here we go. So Hannah Ray asks, and how do you resolve arguments? So I thought that was a great question because everybody argues. Everybody has conflict in relationship and relationships are not perfect. So I thought that'd be a good question for you so that I can glean information and they can learn, but I can learn too.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Okay, so Oh, well, how I was gonna ask you was gonna be like, how do you resolve arguments?
Gosh.
I know you're not
Okay.
married, but I was just I know you're not married, but I was just
No,
like
we still have conflict.
Yeah, you guys,
so yeah.
How do you guys resolve conflict?
Okay, I think that the number one thing is that when you're in an argument, you always tend to be like, that person is wrong, you know, and you never really reflect on like yourself and like what your motives is and what your heart is. But when you can kind of take a step back and be like, okay, so did I have unrealistic expectations here? Was I expecting too much of this person? Was I just really quick to anger in this situation? I just got too mad at them too quickly, and I didn't give them a chance to listen to them. So I think that for me, the biggest thing is forgiving quickly, because it's the worst when you're like, the silent treatment is just the stupidest thing ever. Like it doesn't get anything done, and honestly, the silent treatment is not a silent treatment. It's like you're choosing to be silent. You're
like screaming loudly in the silence. That sounded really like, I don't know.
That's exactly what it is, because it's a choice to be silent. Yeah. So I think that
are you a good forgiver? Are you like a fast forgiver?
In the beginning of our relationship, I really learned that I was very unforgiving, and so what I've learned, which is great about relationships, that you actually learn so much about, you learn so much about yourself.
You really do.
Because it's so easy to blame the other person when you're in an argument, but if you take a second to forgive quickly and reflect on yourself, you'll find that you'll resolve arguments so much faster. Yeah. And I think a lot more with like ease. So I would say just like looking internally, you know?
Yeah, so you're good at forgiving now. You've realized like,
I mean, I can't say that I'm like, yes, I'm good at forgiving.
I'm so
forgiving. Yes.
Yeah.
But I've gotten better at it. So yeah.
It's really interesting because in the beginning of our marriage, we had a lot. I'm looking at here because Dan's literally operating the camera for us. We had a lot more, and I've mentioned this before, we had a lot more conflict at the beginning of our marriage than we do now. Honestly, it was that first year. Like, the first year was our hardest year. Would you say that was the same for you? Yeah, he's shaking his head yes. It was the hardest year for me of our entire time so far, and we're about to hit 9 years in a few months.
Wow.
Like, it was just very shocking. To those of you that don't know the dirty details, we had never had sex.
My first year was hard too, so.
Yeah, but
and
something we
don't have sex.
Yeah,
so,
there was something about like, oh my God, we're committed. We've never had sex.
Right.
We've never lived together.
Right.
All these things, I think it just all hit at once. Also, I'm a very like hard worker, but like in the sense of almost bordering on like workaholism.
Right.
So like I was working like 60 hours a week when we got married.
Whoa.
And I realized, like when you're married, your life, what is that?
We had opposite work schedules.
Oh yeah, and we had opposite work schedules.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, we were flipped around, and so I realized, like I have to put my husband before my work.
Right. He's your number one priority.
Yeah, and so in the beginning, a big like conflict resolver or thing to resolve for us was this really weird. Okay, so we took pre-marriage counseling.
That's great. That's good advice.
It was good, but a lot of the stuff we took, no offense, guys, if you're watching this, we were kind of like not for us. Wasn't necessarily a thing, but there was one really awesome thing, especially in the beginning, that they taught us that we actually utilized a couple of times. And it was this thing where like if you're both trying to get your point across, this sounds so kindergarten, but it was great in the beginning. You have an item, so like a spoon or a box or whatever, and it's like, you can't talk until I hand you this item. And then they take the item and it's like, you can't talk.
That gave me chills. I'm not even kidding. That's so like simple. But
it's so great. Simple. Almost sounds childish.
No.
We haven't done it in forever because we don't really have that problem anymore.
Right.
But in the beginning, it was very like, we're both trying to talk, we're both trying to get our point across. And so it would be like, don't say anything. And then I'd take it and I'd be able to get my whole point across. And then he'd take it and he'd get his whole point across.
Right.
So that was a big thing. Now at a later point in our marriage, we know each other a lot better now.
Right.
We don't have as many conflicts. I have a therapist, so if we do have problems, we can go in together and discuss them and get like a third party.
Professional.
Yeah, and we just talk things out.
Right.
I think we're really communicative. So
yeah, that's really important.
That's my answer to that.
Yeah, totally. Crushed it. Hopefully.
Nailed
Hopefully
it.
that was helpful. Hopefully my bra isn't in this, so if it is, great.
Then everybody's getting a free Cambria shot.
Okay.
Yes.
That's dangerous. So,
let me see what...
Like the most revealing I've ever been is like in your TikTok video.
It's like, there she is being so
Oh my gosh, yes. Okay,
so I'm trying to think.
This is an interesting one.
Okay.
You can go.
At Casey Elizabeth. Well, no, because this is... Okay. Someone asked how was the first year of marriage, but we already answered that.
Okay,
some of these don't apply to both of us, but I'll just turbo through.
I have to agree with that. The first year, just side thing, the first year was Bo and I's hardest year too.
That's so interesting.
There was a lot of conflict because you're getting to know someone, you know?
Yeah.
And that's a really difficult thing.
It is.
So,
I'm not going to project negatively on you because hopefully that was it.
No, yeah.
But what I found was interesting.
So much better.
My mom and my dad dated for almost 9 years before they got married. And my mom said even after all that dating, the hardest year in their relationship was the first year of marriage. She was like, I don't know what flipped. They moved in together after their first date. Like, they were together. So I'm not trying to project because that hopefully it won't be you.
No,
but what is it about marriage?
Right.
I don't know. I find that interesting. Like,
it's just it's the oneness, you know, it's putting that person as like, they are now the number one priority in your life.
Yeah.
And I haven't experienced that, you know, I don't know how that is, but.
And like, becoming one, it's like,
becoming one. Yeah.
This person literally like everything they know about everything. Everything's run past them. I'm sharing all my stuff with them, all my money. I mean, I know everybody has different like intricacies within their marriage, but it is pretty tricky.
Right, but for your marriage.
For my marriage, it's like becoming one was like, whoa.
Right.
So, okay, I'll read this next question, but I'll probably turbo past it because I don't know. You have to tell me your thoughts. Casey Elizabeth Whitfield said, after getting married, were there any things that you learned about your spouse that surprised you?
Ooh.
I love how I read that question because I liked it, but then I'm like, wait, do I have an answer?
I mean, that's a great question because even people that are looking, you know, to be maybe married or whatever, that's a really good question. So what did that happen with you?
I'm trying to think. This is corny. He is even more forgiving.
Wow.
And gracious and kind to me than what I already knew and expected. Like, just the way,
Dan.
I'm about to cry. Like,
I'm gonna cry.
Like, Dan is a really funny person. He's really got this, like, he's got this real, like, Clint Eastwood hardcore, like, say it as it is, cut to the core, Dan.
Oh my
but,
gosh.
like, he's just, I was very surprised when he saw me, because, you know, when you're married, like, they really see you at your, not that they don't before, I mean, he saw me at my worst before.
Yeah.
But, like, it's like, oh my God, there's no getting away.
Right.
And the unlimited amount of grace and love.
Oh my gosh.
That just came from him. I was just like, wow, like, you really freaking love me. Like,
no.
So that was surprising. But on a second note, I think
that's so sweet.
Yeah, it was really
good job.
You're a sweetheart, Dan.
Good job.
But I will say,
cute.
I feel like that is part of the interesting part of marriage is like, you don't want to assume that you know everything about that person. So, like, finding things like, what do I not know about them? Because people are complicated. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
So, I don't know if you have any thoughts around that or if you're just like, nope.
Oh my gosh, I think that was great because you're married and I feel like you can really speak into that. So, I mean, I love that. So, we're going to give that one to Nikki.
Yeah. Okay, you want to pick the next one?
Okay, yeah. So, I saw this one. Let's see. Okay, somebody else asked about, wait. Whoa. Okay, I can't.
My Instagram.
Was it? Okay, maybe that was it.
You're like the third person to
Okay, I'm sorry. I just really failed at getting.
Oh,
okay. So Christine asks how to keep marriage/relationships refreshing, interesting, and full of sparks. That's a great question.
Is a really good one.
Okay, so do you have any thoughts on that?
You should take away the thoughts first since I just blabbered you off the last 6
No, okay, minutes. Well, I feel like you would be good at that one. So I think that not letting the mundane stuff, not even. Okay, that's gonna sound weird. Okay, how am I gonna phrase this?
Does spark mean like interest in the other person?
Right?
Like, are you literally talking like sexual spark? Like it's like
whoa. Okay, so you can
like
take away for that one.
Spark, like because they're like kind of I don't know.
Right.
I
think that just excitement in general.
Just that that's kind of what I picture it as. Just like excitement.
I think that allowing not allowing the mundane stuff to be like. Whatever, you know, just like, okay, well, it's just today, and we're just going through the motions, and like, whatever, you know, I think that just being in the moment with that person, and just like, being like, you know what, I really appreciate this about you. I find when I compliment Bo, even when we're doing nothing, like if we're driving in the car, and I'm like, you know what, you just said the sweetest thing to me at dinner the other night, and that made me so happy, and then it's like, he's like, really? And so it like kind of kindles that love, you know what I mean? And I find that words are just really powerful, and I think that comes into like play with like the 5 love languages.
Someone asked that question if you like what you thought about the 5 love languages, and if you know is his specifically words, are you more of a words person? Are you both?
I think that I'm like, okay, so I have to be careful with this. I think in physical touch, like, okay, so we are saving ourselves for marriage, but like just like physical touch, you know, like a rub on the back. holding hands. Yeah, just go ahead.
Yeah, I'll just start rubbing Cambria the rest of the time.
Yes,
Great
okay,
job,
I feel
Cambria.
the love. I feel the love.
Tickles, like scalp tickles.
Okay, that's
See,
okay.
yeah.
Those are, okay, we're going off on a way tangent, but yeah. So definitely like words of affirmation, just physical touch, doing like the 5 love language kind of things, and figuring out like what that person's love language is, you know, and doing that for them. So if it's words of affirmation, speaking words of affirmation over them, and just physical touch, and just gifts or whatever it is, you know, like, and gifts, they don't even have to be big gifts or expensive gifts. They just like a little, just like a drink.
Yeah, because to people who are gift givers, it's just the thought. It's like, oh, the specificity of the thought, not like the size or the money.
Right. Sometimes I'll drop off like a Starbucks at Bo's work, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much."
That's so sweet.
And that's like a little spark. You know what I mean? It just keeps things interesting. I don't do it every day, all the time. But
he is way more thoughtful of me than I am of him. I'm like, I really think there's a better spouse in this relationship of the two.
Oh my gosh!
I think it's Dan. I'm starting to realize that. It's interesting though, because to those of you that don't know what the 5 love languages are, it's a book, and the theory in the book is basically that like everyone has a way that they receive love, and that usually is the way that they show love. And it's interesting because based on that, like I think Dan has 2. I think he's acts of what's it called? Service. Yeah, like he just literally takes care of everything for me. And then, then he's also a physical touch.
It's amazing.
I know. So like physical touch, I definitely like, because we love cuddling and all of that. Like I'm definitely there, but I suck at like doing things for him. Like I'm sorry, honey, I should probably step that game up because I don't ever like do anything for him. But you know what I mean? Like,
well, now we're just realizing.
I'm like, wow, all these revelations. Wow. But I'll say one way that we keep the spark alive. I don't know if we're referring to spark as excitement.
Netflix.
Oh my god. I was gonna say I think we keep the
Netflix and chill.
That's what we do now.
No.
I feel like dreaming together is really important, like life building.
That's so cool.
You know, like spending the time to think, like
as having a husband. Yeah,
and thinking of each other. Like, if you think of yourself as like a team unit, like what are we building together? How does it feed into each other? How do we want to raise our kids? What do we want our life to look like? What's the next step for us? And getting excited about those dreams you're building together, for us, keeps us really excited. Like we'll go on these cooking rants at night, like we'll be cooking at night, and we'll just go off on these rants about like, oh my gosh, and then we're gonna do this, and like what if we tried that? And it keeps like the energy.
You make me want to get married.
It's cool, but it's different than the beginning, because that beginning thing that I think everybody likes and wants of like the butterflies. I could be wrong, and someone may tell me in the comments. No. I think that pretty much just goes away.
It goes away.
I think it's
people
like
are afraid of that. People are afraid of that. But
I think I heard you say that in a video once.
It's so much deeper. Yeah, I read something. I think it was from either Gary Smalley or Gary Chapman or something like that. They said, it's one of those Garys that are good with the love. So one of them said that people are excited about the flame, that just is like this burning flame, and it's really big and exciting.
That all-consuming
but it burns out. It burns out, you know, and it's just like this big flame, and then it dies off, because it does. But there's something about like the kindling, like the coals that are never gonna burn out, and there's something so much more deeper and so much more secure in that, and
100%.
that's what people really want. You know, because you think about it, that exciting love, like you're looking for someone,
like a lot of people,
you're looking for somebody that's gonna love you, and that's gonna care about you and respect you and want to be with you and be committed to you. That's what you're really looking for. If you dig deep, that's what I'm looking. I mean, that's what I think that's what we want.
I think people think there's something wrong when that goes away, but I think that's literally a physiological, like, I don't know you, I've never touched you, you're a stranger.
I
think it's just a reaction.
No,
but then you get to know them, and those feelings calm down, because then you know them, and then it's the after stuff.
That's getting to know them.
So I don't know how or if you can recreate that, because you know them. It's like
but you can keep
I'm not
it
nervous
exciting.
around
No,
you.
you're not nervous.
It's like, no,
that'd be weird.
Yeah, I'm not nervous
You're like, Dan,
does he like me? Is he gonna leave me? Like all these thoughts that create that.
No,
like,
you have that security.
Do I have to be a certain way? Do I have to talk a certain way? Do I have to be interested?
Are we gonna break up?
Yes. It's like we're secure. But then you don't want to get comfortable, and I think part of that comes with dream building, taking care of yourself, taking care of the other person. Like, I think it's all
get your lipstick on, girl, and like. Okay.
I like that. On that note, wait,
Okay.
did you ask that? You asked that last question, right?
So you go. Yeah, this is
I
the
like this
best
one.
tea ever.
I'm good.
I could just stop the video right now and
Just keep sipping, Cambria. I'll read the next question. This is really good. I think this applies. I know this applies to both of us.
Okay, yeah.
At Daisy21, do you feel you have to be a certain age to marry?
Oh my gosh. Nope.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're like 15, shoot, girl, I don't know about that.
Maybe
but
not. I mean,
it's a little young, but I mean, no. I think that if here's what I think. I think that if you have peace in your own heart,
yeah,
about it, and you know that that's the person, because you don't. I don't know. I think that you have to be at a certain maturity level, and maturity isn't an age; it's a state of mind.
Yeah.
And so I think that if you're in a mature state of mind, and you're at a young age, there's nothing wrong with that, because I don't think there's any. I mean, I'm 20 years old.
Yeah.
And we've been dating for a couple of years, and I don't feel like I'm all over the place. Like, my emotions are like, oh my gosh, is he gonna leave me? There's security in our relationship, and so.
Yeah.
I think that if you find security in your relationship, then your age doesn't matter. People get so caught up in age, and if there's other people in your life that are disapproving because of age, I think that you should take heed to what they're saying, like listen to what they're saying.
Yeah,
but ultimately, like, make your own decisions,
Completely. I
So
completely agree.
I think that, what do you think?
I think it's a cultural thing too, because like I have some friends from Texas, and they're like, back home in Texas, everyone's getting married at like 18. She's like, but here in California, like you're
30.
You're made to feel weird if you get married at 20. It's like, oh my gosh.
Right.
And we got married. Dan and I got married. I was 20. He was 21. And everybody said to us, like, not everybody, but we had probably like just a handful of people that were like, don't do it. It's going to be the biggest mistake of your life. Like, do you know how many divorce? And it's true, the divorce rate is much higher with young. I mean, that's just true.
Right.
But I think marriage is just like every single other big life decision.
Right.
Meaning that like there isn't an age.
No.
It's very unique. Like a lot of people will say to Dan, like I know people wonder sometimes, well, why did you get married if you weren't going to have kids? Like what? Yeah.
That's
like
so
when
funny
are you going to have kids?
It's so funny to me that people ask that, because
I know, like they really.
You don't have to be a certain age to have kids. You don't need to have them young. You don't need it's like that's a very funny question to me. That's so interesting.
I know, it's the same thing. It's like some people really want kids young, and it's like that's because that's right for them.
For them, yeah.
And I feel the same thing about marriage.
I couldn't agree more. That's such a funny thing that people are like, why did you get married if you weren't going to have kids right away?
Yeah, well, because they assume that that's why.
That's why you get married? That's okay. If you're getting married just to have children, whoa. You need to reevaluate that marriage.
I know. Okay, so this is another good question.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's the same. It's kind of along the same lines. Jessica Lion 3 says, and this is our last question. Dan just gave me like the one.
Yay!
How about it's official? It's our last question.
It's the final rose of the night.
It's the final question.
Oh my gosh.
This is a good one to
Bachelor.
ask.
Oh my gosh.
I need to get on that train because all my friends watch it.
I've been watching it since I was like 8 years old. I know it's horrible. My mom was a great mother, but I've been watching it ever since we were little. Yeah, I saw like the first season. So.
No wonder you're like so emotionally connected to it. I would be too.
I really am.
I would be too. Okay, so this says, she wants to know, how do you know when it is the right time to get married?
I thought that was a good question too.
Yeah.
So that's a good question for you, because I'm in that stage right now. So advice.
All right. Here's
time to get married.
my real honest answer. I literally don't know. I mean, because here's the truth.
That's a good answer though,
A
Nikki.
lot of people ask, because I look back sometimes, and I did not think I was going to get married that young. I thought I wasn't going to get married till I was like 30. I thought I'm going to go to New York and do Broadway, and this is what I'm going to do. And then he came into my life, and I fell in love. And people were like, did you get married just because you couldn't have sex? And here's my honest answer.
Question.
No, because I would never commit my life to someone just to have sex with them.
Right.
But yes, because I loved him and knew I wanted to be with him, and I wanted to have sex with him. And for me and my what I wanted to do in my life, and that was the choice I wanted to make. I was like, I just want to wait till I'm married to have sex.
Yeah, same
it was
with me.
like, well then, let's just do it. Like, I'm young, but I know I want to be with you, and I really want to have sex with you, so let's get married. So I know a lot of people would say, like, it can cloud your vision. We just didn't feel like it was. Neither of us were just like, we're really serious, committed people, and I want to be with you.
Right.
So, like, why are we going to hold off on this? Let's just move in together. Let's start building our life together. Let's just do it.
Right.
So, but I don't know. We just did it. Like, and I was scared still. Like, honestly, I was scared because I was never someone who was under the impression that marriage was easy. Even though my parents have a great marriage, I didn't go in thinking like, I just can't wait to be married. Everything's going to be amazing. I was just like, I know I want to be married to him, but I know this is going to be hard. And that's part of the
Yeah.
reason in pre-marriage counseling why I said I didn't get a ton from it.
Right.
Because I think we were an uncommon couple in the sense that, like, I feel like they tried to be like, no, you know marriage is hard, right?
Right.
And once again, if you guys were watching this video, you guys are amazing. No offense. But we came in being like, yeah, we already know. Like, this is going to be hard. I was already scared.
Right.
So, is that annoying to say?
No,
I don't
that's
know.
not. I know so many people that, like, one of my good friends, I mean, they literally dated for, like, oh my gosh, I don't know, very much under a year. They were literally, they started dating, they got engaged, and they got married in under a year.
Wow.
So, and I truly believe, I mean, they have a great marriage. So, and they love each other.
Yeah.
So there's no, like, okay, we need to date for this many months, and then we need to get engaged for this many months, and then we need to, no, like, it's not like a set, like, thing, you know?
No. It's very personal.
It's so personal. You have to know, you have to be sure
for yourself
and who you are and confident in that other person.
Yeah.
So it's definitely not like it's so difficult because when people ask these kind of, when you do these kind of videos, people always want an answer. They want to know the answer and they want to have date for a year or no, you have to date for 2 years and then you need to be engaged for definitely 6 months. And it's like, there's no answer. And so that's the cool thing about life is that you the scary but cool thing, because in those moments of like, man, I don't know how long we're going to date. I didn't know how long I was going to date Bo, and I'm so glad that we dated for 2 years because it's refined us so much. And if we would have gotten engaged last year and have been married right now, I honestly, like, I would look back and be like, man, I wish that we wouldn't have rushed into it so quickly. But for others, that's a healthy amount of time. Yeah. So it's so different for everyone, and there's no, like, dead set answer of, like, you need to do this, and, like, so it's just, you take advice, and, like, you take it or you leave it, you know? You leave it on the table, or you take it with you, you know?
I just realized I do have, I was like, I don't know. Well, actually, knowing that they're the one, I actually don't remember the specific question. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
But knowing a timeline, the only piece of advice that I'll give that I'm like, no, this I think is really important.
Okay, I'm ready
is
for
that
this.
you already had this.
Oh.
You need to have had conflict with that person before you get married.
Oh my gosh, I hear people all the time being like, no, we don't fight ever. And I'm
it's
like,
okay, don't get married yet.
Don't get
because
married
you're gonna fight eventually.
Right.
And we didn't have our first fight for 8 months of dating. We never fought. And then and I heard that and I was like, that is so smart that people deal with conflict differently. So you need to know how the person that you're committing your life to deals with conflict, because what if they're a dirty fighter? What if, like, they're chill, but then when they get fight, they throw crap?
Right.
Or, like, what if...
that would be scary to
You know
learn.
what I mean? Like, I think it's important to know, like, am I prepared to fight with this person for the rest of my life?
Right.
And he's very much my perfect fighting partner because he's not... Actually, this wasn't you. I was talking about this with Melissa. He's not a yeller. I couldn't be married to a yeller, to someone who gets aggressive.
We don't yell either, so that's...
No, but some people, it's like, if they're not yelling, it's like, I want to know you're here with me. Like, you need to fight with the person. So, like, if you're, like, thinking we're going to get married and we've never had a fight, maybe consider putting the brakes on. Because you'll fight eventually, and you probably... But even still, don't really listen to me, whatever.
Yeah, Bo and I didn't fight for, like, it was, like, our 4th or 5th month into our relationship. Where we were like, wait a minute, what? You know, like, we disagreed on something. Right, and I was like, wait, what? But it's funny because in the beginning it was like, oh my gosh, it was kind of heated. But now when we have our arguments or whatever, they're they're very rational, and it's kind of like, okay, well, this is how I feel. And I found that reading a ton, I'm like such a reader though, reading a ton of books or listening to books about relationships is so helpful because I've learned more about myself.
Oh, totally.
And I've learned that looking into yourself and praying for yourself and, like, looking at your flaws instead of, like, looking at their flaws and saying, this is wrong with you, and this is wrong with you, and this is wrong with you.
Totally.
You're going to be, like, you're going to learn to be more graceful. You're going to learn more loving and forgiving
and grateful for that person's positive traits.
Right. Instead of picking out the negatives. When you start to pick out the negatives in people, that is one of the most detrimental things I've ever, in my own relationship, too. Because when I start to focus on that, then I'm like, then I get so sad.
I know.
And when I start to look at all the amazing qualities of him, I'm like, I have the best guy in the whole world.
No,
you know
I know.
what I mean?
Once you just, like, relax, let some stuff go, look internally.
Right.
It's like...
Boom. That was it. So there's our advice. Oh, look and turn.
Bye.
Bam. Walk
See
out.
ya.
And take the tea. And I'm taking yours too.
In a serious note, we are gonna wrap this up now.
Yes.
And you need to check out Cambria's channel if you've never seen it before. She is just awesome. Like I said, we've been friends for years.
I know.
Whenever
so
I'm feeling like down or like
Oh my
not
gosh.
as focused, I always go to Cambria's channel
Oh my
because
gosh.
she really helps to like the content that you put out really like it centers me. It makes me refocus. Her stuff is very thoughtful. It's funny because you film in a very like erratic way, like I do. Like we're like go go go, but like when she pieces things together, it's all got a message and a purpose and a point. And I just
I'm so glad.
I love it. So if you haven't ever checked out Cambria's channel,
Thank you, Nikki.
I'll
So
have
nice
it linked
of you.
below.
Aw.
Go subscribe.
Okay,
to her.
subscribe to her and buy this tea.
There, buy the tea and buy my
Oh.
Tumblr cup because we probably still have them left at this
Yes,
point.
there
So,
we go.
We'll see you later.
Oh my gosh, yay! Thanks for talking with
Yes,
us.
and I will see you guys next week on my next Tea
Thanks
Talk
for the
episode.
questions.
Yeah,
and she's
guys.
the best. Nikki's the best.
All right, we'll see you later. I'm
Bye.
off, whatever. Bye. Seriously though, wow.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.